Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Let's start with a story in which our OP was mistreated and got his revenge in a small but fatal way. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Revenge on Scumbag Boss. I was recently fired as a trainee bus driver after clipping a tree with a side mirror pulling into a bus stop. This is something even experienced drivers do, which were my boss's exact words. 2 days later, I was told I was being let go because of my unsafe approach to bus stops, as evidenced by the mirror incident, and that the company wasn't a training organization and didn't have the resources to waste training me, even though I was explicitly hired as a trainee. So the company I work for is a subcontractor to the local city councils and school services, and provides contract-based fill-in type work. Since being fired between looking for new jobs, I've been posting complaints to the coordinating body that manages all the little bus companies in the region about the state of the bus's uncleanliness, unsafe traffic behavior, rude and surly drivers, and similar. Just found out my former company missed out on 7 new school contracts and has not had 3 route service contracts renewed for the new year. The operations manager who fired me has not had his contract renewed for failing to maintain the standards of service and the spike in customer complaints. And our second story. You don't ignore a man with unlimited patience. Okay, let me preface this with 2 things. I'm still just a little, intoxicated from the time these events took place, and I have the utmost respect for tipping, tippers, servers, bartenders, etc., having worked in the food service industry myself. So let me begin. Tonight on my reading break back around my home city, I attended a split birthday event of 2 of my friends at a downtown bar. Good times were being had, all that stuff. Everything was great until one point. See, I'd left my jacket with coat check, but at some point I'd lost my coat check ticket by accident. For a normal drunk, this would certainly be disastrous, but I had my wits about me, and due to planning, this couldn't be that big of a problem. See, I knew exactly where my jacket was in the coat check area, I knew my coat check number, I knew exactly what was in each pocket of the jacket. Hell, I even had a photo ID in one of the pockets. Easy enough to get my jacket back, right? Nah. After waiting in line, I explained my predicament to the attendants at the coat check in detail, which included pointing to my jacket and telling them exactly how I could prove it was mine, including the ID. In the most condescending tone possible, they tell me there's nothing they can do. I have to wait for closing, 3 hours later, and a manager to get it back, long after the last SkyTrain. Fancy talk for subway leaves and forces me into a $65+ cab home. I ask if they can just call a manager over. I understand they can't just give out coats without tickets all willy-nilly, but with a manager called over, really taking the minimum amount of effort possible. The whole thing could have been over within 30 seconds. Nope, they clearly didn't give half a crap about me having my jacket. Well, crap, there's no way I'm leaving without it and having it disappear when I go to get it the next day. I have to deal with this tonight. Easier said than done. After again explaining how easily this whole situation could be resolved, they decide to make their power play. Their power play turned out to be saying, word for word, we're going to ignore you now. Now, I'm not a competitive man, I'm not a vengeful man, but I am a patient man. A very patient man. In this case, a man with unlimited patience. So I said, I'm going to ignore you too. But that's not all I did. If you're going to be waiting around for a very long time, like I say, for the bar closing, you have to have something to lean against. In this case, I chose the empty pitcher that served as a tip jar for the 2 coat check attendants. Immediately, I saw a splash of panic in one of their eyes, but out of their principle, not a word of protest. As long as they were refusing to rectify my easily fixable situation, I refused to let them take in a single cent of tip, leaning over the pitcher in their plain sight, the smile on my face. Nothing. Even when they tried to get clever and set out a second one at the far side of the counter, a quick, "Oh, sorry, excuse me, gotta grab this," cut through the line of drunks collecting their coats and provided me with some perfect additional arm support. I was going nowhere, but they were getting nothing. Something had to break, and it sure wasn't going to be me. I just wanted my effing jacket, damn it. So for the next hour and a half, the last Sky train was long since gone, I stood and watched with glee as the two attendants worked nonstop, taking in and giving out everyone's jackets without taking in a cent of tip money because of me. They damaged me in one go, and a devastating one at that. But I got the satisfaction of watching them slowly realize the error of their stubbornness over a long, long time, their faces turning from stony half-smiles to the bitterest of longings for what those two pictures could have meant to them. Lo and behold, a bit before closing, my coat check ticket was turned in, and I got to leave with my jacket before the manager got involved. I got everything I needed while they left with nothing. Success. Sorry if this was convoluted garbage. Just read below. And our last story. Use my friendship, honesty, and respect? Okay. So a few years ago, I worked at a Fortune 100 company. I was there on a contract. Everything was great. Really liked the team. Boss, Paul, was great. He and I could talk about anything, honestly, as two guys. He's been to my house. I've been to his. His wife is funny and a stay-at-home mom. If it wasn't for the boss/contractor thing, we could be bros outside of work. At some point, there's a new woman contractor, Mary, that starts on the team. She sits in the cube next to me. She's married, pretty hot, a little bit flirty, just generally great to talk to. She and I hit it off right away. We become pretty close, texting each other at night about work and family and just general crap. Every now and then, she throws some random comments out there about me coming over to her place, which from a self-esteem point of view was just a big plus in my book. Never took her up on it, but could have. We have our normal disagreements about how to run stuff, complete tasks, etc. And while those got heated, it was just two strong-willed people having differing opinions. No big deal. She becomes a family friend, our kids play together, families go to events together, etc. Fast forward to about 4 months later. I'm chatting with my boss late at night, project cut over. He mentions that he's jealous how Mary and I can fight and clear the air and just move on. I thank him for the compliment and didn't think anything of it. Well, within a couple of weeks, Boss Man and Mary are doing lunch together constantly. I ask him if I should move out of the way, as it's obvious that he likes her. Remember, I'm there on a contract, so my boss can fire me without a reason. That's why I treated him with deference. He says no, life goes on for another couple of weeks this way. Then he puts her on his pet project. All of her time is now allocated to his stuff. He doesn't have time for the rest of the team, as all of his attention is focused on his project. I'm sure you can see where this is heading. It was quite obvious to the entire group that they were having an affair. The entire group was up in arms about this because this new girl is getting all of the boss's attention, getting perks, etc. Same old story that you've heard about before. Needless to say, I too am upset about losing my BFF. I figured we were friends enough to keep being friends even through her affair. Obviously not. What bugged me about the entire thing is that I told my boss, who was also a friend, that his affair with her was ruining my work relationship and my personal relationship with Mary. He denied to my face that they were having an affair, which was such BS because I overheard him talking to her on the phone, saying how he wanted to come over to her place for one of their status meetings and make out with her. Side note, there were also a couple of photos of them that were taken by people on the team. One of them was taken in the office at a group celebration for someone's birthday. In the background, you can see them in his office with his hands on her ass. And another one where the team was out to a concert, everyone was drinking. People finally noticed that they disappeared. One of the women in the group took a pic of them kissing in his car. Of course, I didn't tell them about these pictures during our talk. F him and her. Less than a month later, we do a shuffling of cube locations to better align the people who work on projects together. I moved to a deserted island, no one around me. Handwriting's on the wall. 1 month after that, I'm CC'd on an email to my contracting firm informing them that my last day will be 2 weeks from that email. So through this whole thing, my friend just quit hanging out, and I get why. Didn't give a crap anymore. Plus, pretty much dumped me as a friend. I didn't like it. I tried to ask her why to see if she would say anything at all. No dice. Her allegiance was to Paul now. I told her that I was upset. She told me she didn't care and didn't have time for me. F it. If you want to have an affair, go for it. The whole affair part didn't bother me too much. I'll admit to some envy there, but I'm not going to sacrifice everything I have for that. It's just not worth it to me. What bothered me was the lack of respect that they both showed me. I was pretty honest with both of them about what the team was saying, how everyone was feeling, etc. What they did was take my honesty and use it so they could cover up their affair better. For example, when I said that people were noticing that she would leave and then Paul would get his coat on and leave within 5 minutes, he started leaving his coat in the office and leaving about 15 minutes after her. When I said that people noticed that he was giving gifts to her and not to the group, then all of a sudden the group started getting stuff too. Crap like that. What was funny, in an effed up way, is that about 4 months after I was gone, she started being friendly again. Random, "How are you? My day sucked" texts. Anyway, I moved on work-wise. Still texted her every few days after she started texting me. Again, nothing major, just pleasantries. I liken the ups and downs of our friendship to being rich than being poor. I would much rather be rich again. Who doesn't, right? But that anger was still inside me because of how vulnerable I made myself to her and how I felt I was used. So I resolved to get even. I waited a full year and heard that she had accepted a full-time position with my former boss. I then sent an anonymous email to his wife letting her know about the affair and giving her details and the proof. The pictures, too. Mary, of course, called me. So did my former boss. He was pissed. I told both of them that I didn't do anything. How could I? I've been gone for more than a year. I don't know anything about your life anymore. Effers. I heard that both of them got tossed out of their homes and are getting divorced. They deserve each other. Moral of the story, if you're going to have an affair, be discreet and keep your friends close. Or have the balls to say, "I don't want to be friends anymore," and not be a passive-aggressive D-bag, because if not, they may become your enemy and might even be more passive-aggressive and look for revenge. Did it make me feel better that I did it? F yes. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.